Here at the QMM Research Center, work is carried out dealing with the protection and reintroduction of different species of vegetation. In the laboratory, Jean-Baptiste checks the health of the newcomers so as to identify them and initiate them into the follow-up program. The Chirogalius medius is one of the smallest known species of lemur. Its body and head measure no more than 20 centimeters. The youngsters, like this one, are dependent on their mothers for 3 to 4 months until hibernation begins. As adults, these lemurs will weigh about 160 grams, but their weight will actually vary from 140 to 220 grams, depending on the time of year. During the rainy season, the Chirogalius can store up to 75 grams of fat reserves in preparation for hibernation. This fat is stored in their tails, which can measure up to 20 centimeters, corresponding to a 40% weight increase. Compared to other primates, lemurs are considered to be more primitive. Their skulls are less solid, their brains smaller, their vision laterally oriented. Their sense of smell, however, is very highly developed. The program and the equipment are financed by QMM, Qit Mineral Madagascar, a Quebec and Madagascan mining company which hopes to obtain the drilling rights for titanium in the region in exchange for investing in the protection of endangered flora and fauna. The two guardians are going to spend the night in the reserve. They like this simple, natural life, but they're especially proud of their new responsibilities. Roger used to be a watchman. He worked in the city at Fort Dauphin and was stuck indoors all day. He was hired here several years ago when the program was set up. A year ago, he was asked if he could look after and train Jilsan. The two men are now very close. They're preparing their equipment, frontal flashlights and a radio tracker. Tomorrow they'll go after another species, the Fulvis colaris lemur, one of the rarest species on the island. They can only be found in southern Madagascar, and Roger has already saved one group of them a year ago by transferring them to the Mandena Reserve. Ever since, the two men have been following them, watching their little protégés' readaptation. Tonight, they're going to see the Chirogalius medius released here a few months ago. Although when he was young, Roger liked to hunt lemurs, it would never occur to him to do so today. Small lemurs are usually very wild, but these are used to man's presence. The Chirogalius, very active at night, feed on fruit, which are very abundant this time of year.
Oh, aku dah benar itu.
Selama bro.
Selama bro. Benar itu melihat benar.
Iya, mesti bibi dulu terus nita dua tu.
Ay, kurva. Oh, fihum beba aku regaheng ra.
This reserve, dedicated to the protection of flora and fauna, created about 10 years ago, is still not open to the public. It's an experimental zone reserved for scientists. Roger and Jilsan also have to be game wardens. As they inspect the area, they go after potential poachers.
Para Jilsan.
The lemur relocation program began a year ago with the Fulvis colaris lemur. At that time, Roger and the QMM team saved about 15, which they captured in a commercialized part of the forest and then transferred to the reserve. Two Fulvis colaris lemurs are equipped with radio transmitter collars. Without radio tracking, it would be impossible to locate the group. It's vital for lemurs to become acclimatized, since it's their sole chance of surviving in the southeast of the island. They've suffered a great deal at the hands of man. Their flesh and their fur are both considered valuable. The Fulvis colaris lemur is medium-sized. It can measure up to 1 meter and weigh about 2.5 kilograms. It eats fruit, young shoots, and can live up to 25 years. They live in permanent groups of 3 to 12 individuals. Of the 15 relocated last year, only 3 left the reserve to go back to the area where they had been captured. The others seem to have adapted quite well. Today, lemurs are more threatened by the disappearance of the forest than by hunters. They're a symbol of the island's fragility. The creation of reserves managed by local natives is the last chance for the lemurs of Madagascar.